What up, this is Rama Screen covering movies, TV, and entertainment, and here's my review of Netflix's new documentary film, Memories of a Murderer, the Nilsen Tapes. Hey, before you watch my review, please subscribe to my channel, press that like button, and ring that bell so you can get notified whenever I post new videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. That's patreon.com/ramascreen. Let's rock this. Let me start by saying that prior to this docu, I had never heard of the name Dennis Nilsen, possibly because here in America, I'm in a bubble, so my knowledge of serial killers in history are limited to just the serial killers in America, like Ted Bundy or John Wayne Gacy, for example. So I'm coming at this pretty fresh, if you will, knowing very little to nothing about Dennis Nilsen. Having said all that, man, this right here is a very dark and chilling and unsettling documentary. The kind that slowly creeps up on you. Netflix has given us a lot of crime confession tapes docus over the years, but there's something about hearing Nielsen's audio that's both poetic and disturbing at the same time. And I was transfixed by it from start to finish. Directed by Michael Hart, and from production company Rama, Britain's most notorious serial killer, Dennis Nilsen, confessed to killing 15 people in 1983. The truth about how and why he killed has been a subject of much speculation. Now, with a unique access to a wealth of personal archive left in his cell after his death, including over 250 hours of never-before-published cassette tapes of his private recordings, this film will take us into Nielsen's world, set against the backdrop of 1980s Britain with high unemployment across the country that drew young men to London only to find themselves destitute and easy prey, weaving together interviews from police, journalists, survivors, and bereaved families for the first time, and the killer's own voice. This documentary feature explores how Nielsen was able to get away with multiple murders and attacks unchallenged for 5 years. Director Michael Hart does not concern himself with reenactments, and that's okay, because not every format has to include actors recreating the tragedies or incidents. What Michael Hart does instead is focus on the imagery and the testimonies, using multiple angles to create that atmospheric, haunting vibe that you won't be able to easily shake off. It's amazing that many of the key people, including the victims' family members, are still alive and around after almost 4 decades. Dennis himself died in prison a few years ago, but he lives through these tapes like a voice from beyond the grave. The interior designs of where these interviews took place are also fascinating to me. The wallpapers and the furnitures are very antique, like an old retro motel living room that probably smells like mothballs. Unfortunately, of the many archival footage that you see on this docu, not one of them shows Dennis speaking to or in front of the camera. But I think you can chalk that up to the docu not wanting to glorify him, but rather allow those directly affected to share their painful memories and grief. So it's more of a therapeutic journey for them. This docu also reveals the extent to which British society at that time in the 80s looked down on and dismissed Dennis's victims just because of their sexuality or their economic condition. It infuriates you to know that the law enforcement could have taken their allegations and claims more seriously. Perhaps then many of their fates could have gone differently. So in a way, this docu is also a social commentary that forces us to look back with regret on our societal past blunders. Dennis himself was a former cop, so he knew how to work the system in his favor. But the system itself was arguably the bigger problem. Memories of a Murderer, the Nilsen Tapes, will send chills down your spine. Another solid and harrowing crime documentary from Netflix.